Philadelphia turned back the clock on Sunday versus the Giants and showed the world that the 2024 Eagles never went away. Lighting up New York on the ground and through the air, all with the help of a forgotten new weapon. Plus, Jalen Hurts states his case for another MVP-caliber season. Ken Patullo deserves an apology from all of us, and Howie Roseman just got his greenest light ever right before the NFL trade deadline. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. It took 8 weeks for Philadelphia to play a complete game on both sides of the football, and man, was it finally worth the wait. Jalen Hurts sliced and diced the Giants' defense with his A.J. Brown-less receiving core, all while the Eagles' front four finally showed up for their first sack party of the year. But it was the blocking up front by the Birds' O-line paired with a massive day from Saquon Barkley, plus his new running back Tank Bigsby, that has everybody in the city of brotherly love feeling like it's 2024 all over again. And so to celebrate, how about a brand new Jordan Spector art giveaway? This is like the perfect time for a Saquon Barkley Kelly Green picture. Love this thing right here. If you want to win this bad boy, be subscribed, drop a like, and why don't you comment Saquon down below? Oh, and Keith Van Oren, you correctly predicted Jackson Dart as the last touchdown scorer on my previous video and won the Jalen Hurts art piece. So Keith, go down below in my description box, shoot me an email, prove it's you, and I'll get this bad boy sent out as soon as possible. Now, I want to start with Saquon. I really do. The rushing attack, it was truly the big story for Philadelphia, but I think all of us must begin by writing a letter of apology to Ken Patullo and finally admitting that maybe he's starting to figure things out the past 2 weeks. I mean, versus the Vikings, 7 days ago, we saw the passing game finally be unlocked against a top 2 pass defense. However, this game versus the Giants, we saw not only the pass, Jalen Hurts was incredible, I love the play design, but the running game as well. And I think a lot of this has to do with Ken Patullo finally figuring things out. I mean, in the first half alone, we saw a jet sweep, we saw properly gapped running plays, we saw throws across the middle, that's pretty crazy, and of course, the elusive running back screen, which actually culminated in the Eagles' best EPA drive performance since the 2017 Super Bowl. Think about that. Ken Patullo deserved to be ripped the first 6 weeks of the NFL season. I did it, you did it, we all did it. However, we must admit whenever we are wrong, and I think the past 2 weeks have proven he just needed a little bit more time. He has never called plays, he's never been an OC, he had to figure things out, and whatever he did, and the entire team did as a whole, it's working to perfection. And that offense on Sunday, if that's what we get going forward, oh my goodness, the rest of the NFL is in big trouble.
But I think KP did a great job of calling plays. I think he's been doing a great job of calling plays. Sometimes, we kept saying that we're one guy here, we're not detailed enough here, and when it comes together, it's a thing of beauty.
There's ups and downs, there's weekly stories, all those different things, and I think what Kevin's done a really good job of is being able to block out anything that can be a distraction to him and working like crazy to put himself in the best position to call the best game that he can each week, regardless of what's going on. So I got a lot of respect for Kevin in that aspect.
And one of the main improvements is the fact that Ken Patullo has clearly figured out just how dangerous this offense can be when they work Jalen Hurts from under center. As on Sunday, 44% of the Birds' offensive yards came in that formation. And what does calling under center plays do for this offense? It gives them a world of different looks to go ahead and run off of that. They can run Saquon Barkley, which worked to perfection yesterday. They can play action pass out of that. They can RPO out of that. Everything is unlocked whenever you don't just sit back and 4 wide receivers, Jalen in the gun, and run the same 4 plays. This offense is going from, the college, high school level scheme we've seen in the past to, a true NFL style offense, and it starts with running plays under center.
I enjoy being under center and being able to complement things within our run game and find a flow. But ultimately, I think it's about finding a flow in what you do. It's not necessarily, you stick a guy under center or you're playing from the shotgun or you're in the pistol. It's about what are you doing when you're under center. How are we leveraging what we do? How are we leveraging the guys? What guys, what spots are we putting guys when we're in these different positions? And so we just want to continue to build off of it. Obviously, a big time for us is always going into the bye week and being able to assess that and have a reset a bit and build forward.
And that, of course, leads to the highlight of the day, which is the rushing attack and the play by the offensive line. As Saquon Barkley averaged over 10 yards per rush and 150 yards in just 3 quarters of play. Clearly reminding the entire NFL just what he can do when the play calls and blocking up front look just similar to what they did in 2024. That right there, that's vintage Saquon Barkley. And for all of us worried that he would never return to his previous year, well, I think what we saw versus the Giants is what we can expect, hopefully, going forward.
I feel like we got things rolling in the run game today, and we can build on that. But most importantly, whether it's in the run game or passing the ball, we won. And that's the only thing we're really searching for.
Oh, it feels good because I don't know if he's broken one like that this year, but I mean, I know for him, like we talked about it coming in this game, like we were like, we got to break one, just do something, get something going. And coming out second play of the game, doing that, I mean, that's how you get things rolling.
Saquon being Saquon, when he had those opportunities, he took the most, made the most of them and take advantage of them. And then Tank coming in, and when you're able to run the ball efficiently like that, it kind of gives you a flow a bit. And so, proud of how we were able to run the ball.
The eye test the first 7 weeks of the NFL season told me it's not Saquon Barkley, it's the blocking and play calling. And I know a lot of national pundits were saying, oh, Saquon Barkley's washed. He's never going to return to his 2024 campaign form. And yet we all knew deep down, if you could just create the running lanes, block properly, he will explode because he's looked healthy. He's looked fine. And finally, they proved that. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy Saquon Barkley is back. He is the true linchpin in this offense. I know it all runs through Jalen Hurts. We'll get to his play. But if they run Saquon the rest of the way, like they did on Sunday, I just keep saying it, the NFL is in big trouble. And of course, it's not just Barkley. He does start up front. Philadelphia's offensive line, like Saquon, finally also turned back the clock to their 2024 self. Not only with great pass protection, really good, albeit considered versus this front four, but of course, the running lanes, which all start with great blocking up front, as shown here by Brian Baldinger in his latest film breakdown.
The reasons why the Eagles were so good in the run game on Sunday was they used a lot of pin and pull. Like Dickerson pins Dexter Lawrence and Toth pulls on Okereke, and Barkley goes for 8 yards. They ran it left and they ran it right. You watch Lane right here on the pin right here by the tight ends. And now Lane gets out wide and Toth comes out and Mailata's downfield and Barkley goes for 28. All right? These pin and pulls were great. You watch Goedert right here on Brian Burns and he gets Lane out on Banks right here. And there comes Toth pulling around. He was great, by the way, at center all day. And then was over here on the left side. You're going to get Dickerson and Toth on a gut right here, pin and pull. Here we go. And there goes Bigsby. I mean, 2 backs over 100 yards. Like they've been waiting to get these toss cracks and pin and pulls and some of these plays in the playbook. Last week was play action. This week it was pin and pull, and the offense gets better and better.
Also, want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Vuori. What is Vuori? Well, it's a brand new take on activewear, which I personally been trying out for about 2 months now. I'm actually wearing one of their t-shirts right here. Let me just tell you, it's basically all I've been wearing. For example, I've been loving my Stratotech tee and my Sunday Performance joggers. The tee itself is literally insanely soft, like you just need to touch it and feel it for yourself. Also lightweight and perfect for workouts or just hanging around the house. Then, as mentioned, pair with their Sunday Performance jogger, which of course are comfortable, but also moisture wicking and perfect for working out or even traveling. But I will say my new favorite right now at least has to be their core shorts. The quality, first off, is night and day different from any other gym short I've ever worn. They're comfortable, they're lightweight, they're great for a hard workout or really everyday use. If you need new workout shorts, trust me, you gotta give these things a try. And as always, everything from Vuori is designed for movement, built for life, and made with intention from fit to fabric. And the holidays are right around the corner. Little hint there, this would be the perfect gift for a loved one, whether it's Christmas or a birthday or whatever you guys have coming up. Get the link down below in my description box and upgrade your wardrobe today. And of course, if we apologize to Kevin Patullo, then we must apologize to Brett Toth on Sunday, the backup center, who all of us were like, oh my goodness, I really thought he was going to get obliterated by Dexter Lawrence. And yet Brett Toth looked like a starter out there, clearly had his best day ever in his life as an offensive pro. Credit to Brett Toth. His teammates understood it. Nick Sirianni understood it. That was a big-time performance from the backup center.
Brett getting us on the same page, checks, all the different things like that. It's going to, obviously the O-line, deservingly so, played awesome. Deserves a lot of credit.
We talk about Brett and just what he means to this team and, the patience that he has, and just waiting in the water, finally capitalized on his opportunity at center. And we knew he was a center. So, the last 2 weeks, I thought he's put up 2 great games back to back. And it's nothing short of a surprise because we just knew what we had in the player that we have in Brett and what he was able to do, just his big brain. We talk about his big brain and how he's able to make those calls, and with all the unique fronts that we were getting, putting everyone on the same call. I always talk about communication. That was part of the issues going, the first 6 weeks that we had. Communication was part of it, execution was part of it, and today it was just a clean game from Brett where we all knew what the point was. So it was, like I said, just a great game by Brett.
Now, of course, the other crazy part is I feel like the Eagles suddenly added a brand new weapon on Sunday in running back Tank Bigsby, who, of course, has been in Philadelphia for the past couple of weeks since his trade from Jacksonville, but they really never used him. But once they figured out he does exist, how about 104 yards on 9 carries while forcing 4 missed tackles and 4 runs of over 10 yards? I mean, he looks night and day better than any backup running back Philadelphia's had in ages, and they've had some good ones. This is a serious 1-2 punch brewing in the city of brotherly love. Whenever you have Saquon Barkley, you don't normally think about a backup running back. You kind of go, well, in case he gets hurt, you should have a decent one. But we've always seen Kenny Gainwell, for instance, in the past too, has been solid. But the difference between Kenny Gainwell in 2024 and the Tank Bigsby we just saw, night and day. The fact that Philadelphia might have found somebody who, he's not a 1B to Saquon Barkley because Saquon is so much better, but someone who's way, way closer to being an RB1. Imagine being able to use him in the postseason. Imagine having Saquon go off on you in the first half, and then they bring in Tank Bigsby, the physical after contact rushing yards that he got. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how good he looked in this Bird offense.
Just doing what I was doing, helping the team win. Just thankful for the opportunity because I always been really in the main spot.
I think the O-line did a really good job of dominating up front, creating space for us. It's cool to see Tank get out there and then make some big plays. And, I've never been a part of a game, I don't think so, of having 200-yard backs. So it was great to see him go out there and make plays, and especially, see him finish the game for us.
I think what you see with Tank, obviously there's a reason we traded for him. Really explosive runner. You see that, we see that all the time in practice. And as he's caught up to our system and everything that we do and learning it, he's gotten more opportunities, and it's been fun to see him run with the football. But I wouldn't say it's a surprise with how he looked today, because we obviously saw that in Jacksonville, reason why Howie went and got him. And then we see it in practice every day where you're like, hey, we got to get this guy some touches.
Moving along to other people who deserve credit. How about Dallas Goedert? National Tight Ends Day and his second multi-touchdown performance of the season, giving him now 6 receiving touchdowns. That's number 2 in the entire NFL behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. Philadelphia's never really used Dallas Goedert as much as I thought that they should in the red zone the past couple of years. Yes, he blocks well. Yes, he catches well, but more of like, across the middle, 10 yards, break a tackle, make it 15. But the red zone usage by Ken Patullo, credit to him, to get Dallas Goedert the football and these very unique play calls down in the money zone, it's made a world of a difference and just makes defenses have to add another person they have to worry about. You're already worrying about AJ and Smitty and Saquon and Jalen. Now Dallas Goedert with these pass calls? Oh boy, I keep saying this today, but absolutely good luck.
Yeah, Dallas has been a great, ever since I've been here, Dallas, and even before I got here, Dallas has been a big-time player, has the ability to make plays in both the run and the pass game. So anytime you have a player like that, that's huge.
And that, of course, yes, brings us to, the offensive highlights that are only made possible by yet another MVP-level performance from quarterback Jalen Hurts, who since that low-point loss, terrible game versus the Giants 2 weeks ago, he's thrown for 505 yards with 7 passing touchdowns and 0 turnovers. And when I say he's starting to build an MVP caliber resume, I 100% mean it. He's got 20 total touchdowns, nearly 2,000 total yards, and again, just 2 turnovers. Plus top 5 really stats among quarterback categories like completion percentage, passing touchdowns, passer rating, and interceptions. Ask any fan what are Jalen Hurts' best 2 performances as a pro, and that's probably his 2 Super Bowls. He lit up the Chiefs and then lit them up again. But the Jalen Hurts we've seen the past 2 weeks are clearly his best regular season performances I think I've ever seen. He looks just completely in control, completely in command, extremely accurate, seeing the defense as a whole, audibling into the right plays, and most importantly, not turning the football over and taking his shots down the field. This is an MVP caliber level performance from a quarterback. This is what you want from an MVP caliber performance. And I know Jonathan Taylor is running away with it right now. I think he wins Offensive Player of the Year, but quarterbacks win MVP. And right now, maybe besides Mahomes, there's not a quarterback on earth playing better than Jalen Hurts.
Playing like the quarterback that we know he can be, and that's the best in the league. He's doing a great job commanding the offense and making sure that everyone's in the right spots, putting the ball out on time. So, it's nothing new to us. Like you said, we see it every single day, and it's cool to see it come true on Sundays.
It's about looking within and saying, well, what can we be better at? And I've used the word leverage. How are we leveraging ourselves? We came out and we did some different things that we hadn't done before. You definitely can build off of that. And so I think The best of them usually are able to attack people in different ways, and they can pick their poison in that. And I do think that element of what we do, it has always done something for us. And we just want to continue to build off of that.
I mean, I kept trying to preach to you guys they had early struggles last year, but I'll be honest, behind the scenes, I didn't really believe my own words. I wasn't sure they could turn it around like we saw after the bye in 2024. I was panicked, I was worried, and boy, does it ever feel good to be proven wrong. This offense, we don't want to jinx it, but it feels back. It feels like it's firing on all cylinders, and now they get a bye week, so extra time to get healthy, extra time to watch the film, figure out what else they can add on. I cannot wait to see what they're going to look like 2 weeks from now when they play that vaunted Packer defense. Which, of course, leads to some apologies on our own defense. I mean, first and foremost, Kelee Ringo. I couldn't even find footage of Kelee Ringo on Sunday because he literally gave up 0 catches while playing 100% of the defensive snaps. Does that mean Kelee Ringo is absolved of all sins and we should not trade for a cornerback? No, but we ripped Kelee Ringo 2 weeks ago. He got torched by Wan'Dale Robinson and the Giants the first time around. That was vintage Kelee Ringo. And when I say vintage, we haven't seen that Kelee Ringo in a long time. That was his best performance as a pro. Likewise, the Bird defensive line, a lot of criticism the first 7 weeks. They finally showed up, generating nearly the same amount of sacks in one game, 5, as they had all year up to that point. With all 3 defensive tackles generating a sack, which in turn allowed Josh Uche and, what do you know, Jalyx Hunt to finally get after it on the edge.
I think it's just what we've been doing. Keep our head down, keep pounding. We know what we're capable of. We know what we have in the building, and just belief in ourselves, you know, and just continuing to grind and stack brick by brick.
Like Ringo, Jalyx Hunt was all but invisible the first 7 weeks until his explosion on Sunday versus the G-Men, generating, like we said, his first sack on with a career-high 9 pressures, giving him 16 total in the past 3 weeks. Hunt, like a Jomo, were the 2 big training camp defensive winners that we all were singing the praises of past couple of months. However, when he didn't live up to those predictions the first 7 weeks, I started to get a little worried. But it seems like, much like with the offense, the young edge just needed time. And now the Hunt, plus the return of BG, and maybe another edge rusher move by Howie, we'll talk about that. We're looking like there's a possibility this defensive line is about to go from bottom 3rd in the league to top 5 very soon. And I think all of that leads perfectly into my final point on today's show, and that is that Howie Roseman just got the greenest light he has ever had at this point before a trade deadline, maybe in his entire Eagle GM career. Philadelphia winning that football game, going to 6-2. He now has all of the ammo and all of, I think, the blessing from Jeffrey Lurie to go make a trade to get the final missing pieces on what could be another Super Bowl caliber roster. You could totally have argued that the Eagles team we saw even 2 weeks ago was not worthy of Howie Roseman spending future draft capital to go get a player. But as I just said, they're 6-2. They have a big lead now in the NFC East, thanks Dallas, and already 2 wins over some serious NFC opponents. Howie is going to go make a trade now. I almost can guarantee it. I know I can't technically do that, but come on. I would think edge rusher for sure. I would also add Rick Woolen's name in there as well. Don't be surprised if Howie makes not only one move, but multiple. This game to me says, green light, go ahead and get your guy. I mean, Bradley Chubb plus Rick Woolen, as we talked about, would already take this top 15 defense to yet another level. Plus, when you add those two with the emerging Jalyx Hunt, we just talked about that, and the return of Nolan Smith and BG, you could instantly see a top 15 defense right now shoot up to being a top 5 or even, as they were last year, the number 1 defense in the entire NFL. And all of that was without A.J. Brown. And I know some people want the drama, deleted tweet this, drama that A.J. looked engaged on the sideline while he was sitting out with a hamstring injury. He looked like he's having fun pregame. I'm not worried about A.J. Brown. We'll talk more about him on tomorrow's show. But now, think about it. This defense is going to get healthy. This offense is going to get A.J. Brown back. They are about to go from, again, one of the best offensive units right now the past 2 weeks to potentially even better when Brown comes back. I feel confident in that. So what you guys think down below in the comments section. But overall, what an absolutely incredible win. There is no better feeling than Philadelphia winning a dominant performance versus the Giants who just beat them. And then you get to go healthy and relax and sit back for the next 2 weeks and prepared for the toughest stretch of the season right now with the Packers and the Lions and the Cowboys and the Bears. You could not feel better about Philadelphia on a Monday. Drop a like down below for that. I cannot wait to see what Howie Roseman does. I think he makes a move. I'm Thomas Mott. If you can't tell, I'm pumped here on a Monday. I hope you guys are too. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.